Some women seem to not be able to take no for an answer. Meet Terry. Terry was a 44-year-old, recently divorced father of 3 living in DC. He was in DC because his daughter was in graduate school out there and he wanted to be close to her. He had a trucking company with 3 trucks in his fleet, so yeah, he was out here doing his thing. Right before the pandemic broke out, he was out in South Bend, Indiana, visiting some family he had. While there, one night he went to a party and met a woman. We'll call her Najee. Najee was a 36-year-old administrator at Notre Dame University. She was in the process of getting her PhD in criminology from the University of Illinois. Yeah, criminology. Keep that in mind as I go on with this story. So during the early days of the pandemic, they were dating. Terry told her from the jump that he wasn't looking for anything serious. He explained to her that he had just got out of a marriage and he wasn't looking to jump into another one anytime soon. He also explained he wasn't about to be exclusive either. He wanted to maintain the ability to see other women. And of course, it worked both ways, so she could do her thing as well. At first, Najee accepted that. Now, I don't know if she really meant it at the time, or if she was just kind of pretending to accept it to kind of slow play him to a more committed situation, down the line. But Terry was clear. His focus was on expanding his fleet of trucks and taking care of his kids. Now, by 36, 37 years old, you should know if you're the type who can handle a situation like that or not, and be able to remove yourself if you know that's not what you're looking for. Apparently, Najee didn't get that training along the way and fell hard for Terry, despite his warnings. They started dating in February, and by May, Terry couldn't do it no more. He ended things because he sensed she was trying to take things to a place he didn't want to go. You know the phrase, never let a man tell you he don't want you more than once? Yeah, well, no one told that to Najee. She kept blowing up this man's phone. He told her to stop contacting him numerous times. Najee didn't listen. So Terry had to block her number and block her on all his social media accounts. With her blocked, Terry figured things were finally done. I mean, he lives in DC, she lives in Indiana. This should all be over. Tell me why. This wasn't even close to being over. Being blocked and having big distance between the two of them, that wasn't gonna get in Najee's way. She was determined to win this man back. This woman turned into a full-blown stalker. How can she be a stalker living 5 states away, you ask? Well, on the weekends, she would catch a flight from Indiana to DC, rent a car, drive to this man's apartment, and just sit out there watching. And she did this many times. At first, Terry didn't notice, but one day he caught her parked outside of his apartment, just watching him. And it wasn't just stalking either. She reached out to Terry's family on social media in an attempt to win them over so she can get Terry back. She offered his daughter an internship at Notre Dame. She even bought the young lady a Tiffany bracelet. Now, Terry made his daughter give the bracelet back. Terry tried to warn his family to avoid Najee at all costs. Her obsession got darker and darker as the year went on. By November, Najee had reached her breaking point. While I'm not 1,000% sure on what was the straw that broke the camel's back, word was Terry had found a new one. Not only that, he was getting ready to leave his daughter in DC to go be with that woman in Chicago. So Najee was thinking, I thought you didn't want anything serious. Certainly, moving to a new city for someone is pretty serious. She just couldn't take it. She got her heater and hopped on a plane to DC. She actually put the heater in her checked luggage. And side note, I thought they were supposed to check for that sort of thing. But anyway, when Najee gets to Terry's apartment, he's kind of all packed up, ready to go. She confronted him and ended up squeezing off 5 rounds into him. Terry was unalived on the spot. When the cops arrived, Najee was kneeling next to him with the heater in her hand. During her interrogation, she says she blacked out and doesn't even remember how she got to DC in the first place. When they showed her a picture of Terry, she told them to take the picture away, saying, "You don't do people you love like that. That's not love." What? Even though this was clearly a premeditated incident, the criminology major ended up pleading out to second-degree murder as opposed to the first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison. Terry's family is very upset as they feel like she got a sweetheart deal. They wanted her to get life in prison, and I totally understand why. R.I.P. Terry.